Hello everybody and welcome again to another tutorial of mine. I've seen many nice videos of some fantastic curtains shown all over the place, but actually I have not seen one where somebody would explain to you how you can cut those curtains to afterwards sew them then for yourself. So I decided I'm going to explain to you in this video exactly how you got to measure to do one of those curtains and exactly what the shapes got to look like if you want to cut it. I have to say you do need quite a bit of material for this. You need for the curtain tape, and you need the yarn of course, and mainly you need the bar in the length where you would like to have this arch curtain hooked onto. So you see some of the ones I've done so far for my house, which I have hanging around, and I enjoy having them. Sometimes I just like to cover certain areas, as you can see here, from the wood up, because it's actually not a curtain, it's just a decoration part, and that is exactly what you can do as well. So what exactly do you need to measure this out? Well, of course, you do need the length of your bar, of your curtain bar, because that's where the measurement is mainly coming from. And you should have some heavy rope, or here in my case, what I'm using the weight for a curtain for the bottom, because that really folds very nice. So let's take the case exactly this from left to right is the width of your particular curtain as it should be when it's totally finished. And this is approximately where on the roundabout where the arches is hanging, and that top part is going to be totally straight and flat. The curtain tape will also be stitched onto that flat part because you need it for the hooks to hang onto your certain curtain bar, of course. So this chain that I hung over here, or this cordle that I hung over, is only to decide which will be the flat part. It will not be the way your pattern will look like. This first short one got nothing to do with it, but you can decide by the looks of this exactly where your flat part of the curtain should be. That means where exactly in that position where my hands are now will the arches starting towards the outside, and the inside is flat. It also decides, you can also see how low you want the bows to start by pulling this up or down. Also with this one, because that will make this rope that you have hanging over much longer, and that will be the bottom then of the cut that you need to do, because this exactly from where I'm holding my hands now at this position will be the exact width from the bottom of the curtain you will have to cut. So that's why that is so important, that first of all you really think about it, which will be my flat part, how wide will that be on the top, and how low will I have my arch hanging. The higher you pull it, the less material you need. The lower you let it down, the more material you will need altogether for your particular curtain. So really check this out again and again, and that will be your measurement. So that will be your arches hanging over, the little bows hanging over, and the top will be totally flat. Keep on trying this until you know exactly how you want this. So measure the total width of your finished curtain as it will be finished, which will be the outside of your chain, of your rope that you got lying there. And then measure exactly your flat part in the middle. I already made a little mark in the middle of my paper here for my pattern. But this rope, the small one in the middle, has nothing to do with the cutting. This is only for deciding where the flat part should be. So ignore that in a certain way. But I want you to work it out like that for you. So from my first marks from the middle that I put where the little chain is, towards the outside there, I made another mark. And in my case, this is exactly 10 centimeters on both sides. This will not be your measurement. Don't get this wrong. This is only because I'm doing this on a little piece to explain to you how to work it out. The measurement between your two chains is whatever you decide on where all your arches will fall and will be. So after I mark that, I have to continue. Because this particular part, these 10 centimeters of mine, will be later on tripled by the size, because usually the tape band that you will stitch on, you will need 3 times the width in it. That means my 10 centimeters then will be 30 centimeters long, because I pull it together with my tape, my curtain tape, and then it's 10 again, because I say it's 3. But you can choose any other size depending on how much width you want it. But I do suggest take one that has 3 times the amount of the width in this, because then it will really fall into beautiful waves as you might want this. All right, so you would not draw a round like you see there, but this round of the big chain is exactly the width now on your bottom. And you can slightly see on the right and the left side that I marked already a line down, because that is exactly my 60 centimeters from that top. There you are. That will be the width of my curtain, which then exactly be the 60 centimeters hanging as a bow. So check again everything there, and now take the 30 centimeters. As I said, I got 10 on the top for my bows, times 3 makes 30. And now from my mark on the top, I make a mark on my side on 30 centimeters down, and the same here, 30 centimeters from my straight mark up there to that point where I have to do the connection of all my lines. That's why I'm taking a big ruler now, and I'm connecting those 2 points with each other on this side and as well on the other side. I know it's not very visible at the moment. I will show it to you again in a little moment, because I saw afterwards when I made this that it's not very visible. You will see it in a moment better after I completely draw it for you. So as well here, after wherever my straight bit on the top is finished, there was the mark on, and I pull it down to my 30 centimeters, and now I just connect those two with each other there, straight across. That's the bottom of my curtain. But don't forget, what we got at the moment here is the size of the finished curtain. At the moment, there is no seams added anywhere. So, as an example, you like to maybe put on the bottom a seam of 3 centimeters plus the seam that is inside the seam. So you got to have at least 4 centimeters for the bottom, which you will add on. If you want a wider seam, you can do that. But usually on a seam like a curtain like that, I suggest it should finished be 2.5 or 3 centimeters. But on this pattern, as I explained to you, it is not added on. You have to add it there on the bottom. The same on the sides where the curtain tape will go, and on the top there's no seams, because on the top you might want a little standover as well that you can consider. So I just show you here on my particular one how this side looks like. That is my straight top that you see there, which will not be pulled in. It hangs straight on the curtain rail. And here is the I just show you that I've used a very tight curtain tape, and because with that one I can pull it however I want to, very tight or a little bit looser. And that is now, it actually produces a tiny little curve up there, and therefore you have to fold your curtain tape in the corner a little bit over on the bottom when you stitch it on, to be able to get around the curve there. And that is then the side, which will be pulled from whichever length you have to 1/3 of that. But that's how it looks like. I know it looks a bit strange and you think, well, how can I get this up there? But it's no problem. So I suggest, if you want to do this particular curtain, really hang up your curtain rail first, then take these ropes or weights for the curtains that you have and hang it exactly onto the curtain rail in the form, in the widths and the lengths you do want for your particular curtain, because that is the best way to test this out, how high or how low you want it to fall and how wide. That is absolutely the very best. And you can see on this curtain of mine here, I got a very long piece flat in the middle. But you can make this much small. Just look at my pictures, the ones I've done already of my curtains, and you will see the difference, that it really makes a lot of difference. The tidier you go in the middle, the more waves you will have underneath. And the farther apart you leave the middle flat, of course, that is then you only have a few waves on the bottom. And you never would measure it from the top down to the bottom. You have to measure with the cordle, with the rope that you will measure this out with, and that will be your bottom length, and you will create out of the length and the top which widths you will need. As I just realized that it's very difficult to see my lines, I just drew them again once for you. So here you can see exactly what your cutting for your pattern for your curtain will look like. You got the flat part on the top for your curtain. You got the two long sides which are 3 times as long as the mark for the finished width on the top you will have on your curtain. And out of those ropes that you had hanging down, you know the length or the width of the bottom for your curtain, which is the bottom arch of your curtain. And so you can exactly work it out. And here I just once again show you one of the flat parts where a long stretch in the middle is flat. I only pinned it on the wall up there. That's why it's not so flat, and it needs to be ironed anyway, as you can see. But it's just so you get the idea how to make this curtain, and mainly the pattern, because as I mentioned before, I have not really seen anybody showing that. So I hope that you enjoy my little video. Maybe you like to make one of those. If you do have any questions on it, then don't hesitate and ask me. I will be pleased to answer you if I know the answer. Have a good time, and bye for now.